Interesting. Big battles going on here at the FIA Karting World Championship, brought to you by MondoKart.com. And heading out onto the circuit, it is an all-newbie affair and an all-energy course affair. So this will be an interesting one to start the day, to continue the day, sorry. Kian Varden and Dries van Langendonk, Andrea Dupé and Andres Cardenas, then Enzo Tarvanitschkel and Enzo Nienkotter, from Joshua Graham and Clement Utran, Tobias Clausen and Dimitri Matveev, Sandro Perez and Emanuele Olivieri, from Max Walton and Adrian Ferrer, Guy Albag and Francisco Macedo, Elliot Kaczynski and Jakob Kapanik, from Matti Rittonen, Louis Leveau, Leo Robinson, Miguel Costa, Kirill Kutskov, Jackson Burns, Timofey Mikolov, Mark Brovko and Sasha Avril from the back of the grid. So interestingly, it looks like there's a bit of rivalry building then at Ricky Flynn Motorsport between Alfie Slater and his current teammate Thomas Stralven. So that looks like it's getting quite entertaining and quite interesting out there on the circuit. We might have to come back to that story a little bit later though, because the two energy course drivers, who a lot of people might not have expected to be sharing a front row of a starting grid in FIA Karting this week in Sarno, are in exactly that position. So Kian Varden alongside Dries van Langendonk. There is one kart missing, I notice, actually. That is the Czech driver Jakob Kapanik. So I'm not entirely sure where he's gone, but he certainly doesn't appear to be out there on the course. Either that, or he's got a transponder issue. I doubt it's going to be the latter, because obviously they went on top of those sort of things by now. But Kian Varden, pole position. Dries van Langendonk, second from Dupé. And then it is Cardenas, Tarvanitschkel, Nienkotter, Graham and Utran. Are we going to go racing? No, not this time. False start, false start. So the drivers obviously still a little bit under pressure, Kian Varden and Dries van Langendonk, new boys to the front row of the starting grid. But up to this point, of course, we still have to reflect on the fact that Dries van Langendonk has won every single FIA karting race he's ever started. He's only started one, of course, but he did win it from pole position. So starting from the second position of the grid, that completely unmatchable record by anybody in the world of FIA karting that he's held for about an hour and 20 minutes. That might be about to come to an end, but he's certainly put on a good show so far.
Yeah, and it's very nice of you guys to wait for me for the time for me to come back from the back and to join you in the box.
Say to the drivers, they were clearly waiting for you.
Absolutely, you know, I was running a bit late and I thought, okay, we needed two of them, so let's go one more time. No, joking aside.
Well, the thing I noticed from that interview you did with Alfie was that maybe it was him and Thomas Stralven that were actually having the fisticuffs earlier on then, because he said karma is paid back. I got him this time. And obviously Stralven finished behind him rather than Mathieu Vanu, who finished ahead of him. So maybe there's a little bit more to the rivalries at Ricky Flynn than meets the eye at this point. So could be interesting to keep an eye on that. We'll have to follow it as we go through. But certainly for the energy course boys on the front row of the grid, it's very pleasant to see them there. We haven't seen the energy course drivers consistently at the front row of the grid this season. But they now have an opportunity to do so. Onto the main straight. Are we going to go racing this time? Yes, we do. Good start from Varden. Hangs on through turn one, and it's not the best of starts from Van Langendonk, but Dupé and Tarvanitschkel make their way forward. Tarvanitschkel to second place with a little bit of support from Andres Cardenas, the Peruvian that's come up into third position, but Tarvanitschkel makes the good bid and gets into second position. The Thai driver who races under a Spanish license for the World Championship, now in a second place in the Tony Kart, chasing down the Swiss ace Kian Varden, and if he wins like he did earlier on, then Enzo Tarvanitschkel looking just as confident in this World Championship week as Carvalho. He's going for it immediately. Dives in on the inside. Great move from Tarvanitschkel. Up to second comes Andres Cardenas, but I'm not sure even Tarvanitschkel knew he was going for that move until he made that last-minute decision.
Wow, that's definitely what we'd like to see. Beautiful move once again as he took the lead just in one bit. The door was open, even slightly open, maybe half of it. It was enough for him to dive into the hairpin. So that's what we'd like to see. More of that, please, as we've been really relentless. Oh, and a good battle for the back as well between the two for the back. The Argentine Motorsport, this is the 210 of Joshua Graham being put under pressure by, for the back, Dries van Langendonk as well. Let's try to see how it's going to play out. Actually, the young Belgian trying to fight his way back after losing a pile of positions as Enzo Tarvanitschkel at the moment with one win under his name already, trying to increase his gap, but that's a lot to speak. Joshua Graham, as a result, has a warning flag as onto the hairpin. Watch out for the move. From where will it come? As you can see further back, Adrien Dupé trying to go around the outside to And there he goes.
He got into second there from
Wow.
fourth. That was absolutely terrific from Dupay.
That was quite insane, actually, because we saw him going around the outside in the braking zone of the hairpin, but by the look of it, with the viewpoint of a camera, it didn't look like he was going to make it until at least one position, and he just went for a little bit of banging on the leader. Taart van Niskel must have felt that on the back, but Adrien Dupay is having a lot of pace in his tires and Sony kart, and what a move that was from the 177 of Enzo Carter further back on Tobias Klose. This is a battle for fifth, and he just went on inside of turn number one, leaving actually no space at all to the opposition.
Well, what happened to Joshua Graham there? Because it looked like he went wide out of the final turn and has dropped back to about 18th place. He was in the top 5 there, mixing it up. So Josh Graham has ended up getting run wide, and that's Taart van Niskel down to 4th. Cardenas is through, Fardin is through, Dupay is through. So they're all managing to get the overtake. Now Fardin's going to get the undercut maneuver on Andres Cardenas to retake the lead. So Kian Fardin back into the lead of this race then. Andres Cardenas having only just taken it. Now it is Kian Fardin that comes back through. Taart van Niskel down to 4th place. But look at Dupay. Dupay's going to try and get his run. Cardenas holds him at the line. Dupay trying to cut back through on the inside apex. He gets a little bit alongside him. Can he out-drag him on acceleration? Down to turn 1, he thinks better of it. Decides to go through turn 1, wait for his opportunity into 2. Again, he just decides to wait for his opportunity, but this is big battling. And Kian Fardin is not able to pull away from Cardenas and Dupay. This could rumble all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, it's strange what happened to Taart van Niskel. Oh, the 197 from Parlin in trouble. This is Max Walton, the Australian. Unfortunately, he was trying to get back up to speed. A yellow flag into the first sector of the race on the way to turn number 2. We'll get back to that as on the other side to the hairpin. The battle still raging for the lead with Kian Fardin, Andres Cardenas, Andrea Dupay. Wow, and look at that, the Sony kart driver leaving no space at all. They're all fighting 4 in the same picture, but actually that could go the way of Kian Fardin because he's pulling away. Oh, on the outside goes Andrea Dupay on Andres Cardenas, with Taart van Niskel trying to find his bit as well and to make a return. Yes, he did.
So Cardenas actually got on the curb and spat the kart out, but he's taken Taart van Niskel along with him. Now Taart van Niskel gets into 2nd place, dives through on the inside. All of this has given Kian Fardin a clear run up front. He's 1.3 seconds clear now of everybody else, as off the racetrack we have lost Max Walton and Enzo Nienkotter. So Enzo Nienkotter and Max Walton appear to be out of this race. Very unfortunate for them. Nienkotter has come off at the final turn, I do believe. Max Walton a lap before that. So very tricky stuff, but out in front, that is now Kian Fardin leading the race, with Enzo Taart van Niskel through to 2nd position. Cardenas, Dupay, Albag, Sandro Perez has come all the way up to P6. This is a great drive from the Spanish driver. In fact, no, he's up to P5 now. Sandro Perez, of course, was out of the race in his first heat on the first lap. So Sandro Perez now getting himself back into the action and fighting to dive in on the inside of Dupay and takes the move. But he runs wide on the exit. Dupay coming back at him. And we've still got Kutskov charging his way forward. Kutskov is all over the back of Guy Albag. He's up to 7th place in 5 laps.
Yeah, fantastic recovery indeed for Kurt Kutskov, up to 7th. As we back the leaders around the inside, beautifully made from for Sandro Perez indeed, in front of Andrea Dupay. We're gonna keep an eye on that as well. This is the penultimate lap of this race. As you can see the switch of position, Dupay down to 5th, Sandro Perez up to 4th. And we're not done yet as well for the leader. Maybe it might be all over on the way to what will be victory for Kian Fardin. But let's keep an eye on what's happening behind. Look at how close and agitated this field is. The 125 on your picture further back. This is Guy Albag in front of Kil Kutskov. Following Kutskov as well, the 180, trying to make his bid as well. This is Leo Robinson, my apologies, with the 180, the 171, trying to get around as well. Just in front we have Guy Albag from World Racing under intense pressure. We're back to the leaders. 1.4 seconds now between Fardin and Enzo Taart van Niskel, keeping at bay Andres Cardenas for 3rd, with further back Sandro Perez. With for how long can he actually hold on? 1 lap is not a lot indeed. Can we see some late corner, last corner, late move? Let's see what's going to happen. But Cardenas is very much on the pace, on the charge. Sandro Perez the fastest in this race. Can he actually try to do something as well? Coming to the latest stages of this race, on the way to the hairpin, nothing to worry about for the leader.
Guy Albag has come off the kart on the last lap. There he is, Guy Albag in trouble on the final tour. He's going to have to push start it to get back home. But this man, Kian Fardin, timing is everything in OK Junior. He managed to get the lead and leave them all for dead so that he could disappear and go and take a victory at a crucial stage in his weekend. So after a third place earlier on, Kian Fardin is going to come through for the win and keep his World Championship weekend going strong. Great run from Fardin. Second place for Tarman Hitchcock. Third for Cardenas. That was a really strong run for Kian Fardin as he continues to give us plenty of suspense and excitement through the course of proceedings here. And a really exciting challenge. The drivers continuing on their way in this afternoon of purely OK Junior racing. We've had all the OK heats that we're going to have for today. They'll be back in action, of course, tomorrow. But the OK Juniors really starting to intensify the battle a little bit now. And they've given us so much excitement in this course of proceedings. Kian Fardin, that's an important win at an important time. And that really needed to give him the strength of discipline to know that even though he was very strong in the wet, he needed to be strong in the dry as well. And that's exactly what he's proving to be.
It's always good to see, one of those nations that we're not quite used to see winning at the front. And coming from Switzerland, Kian Fardin is one of those few drivers coming to the fore, because Switzerland is, talking of history, not so much of a motorsport country, isn't it, compared to the likes of Germany, France, Britain, and so on and so on. But over the years, we've had quite a good number of drivers from there shining at the forefront in all sorts of series. And to see him, on top of the world in the karting of their drive classes is always refreshing. So Kian Fardin, one of the new names up front in the junior class, winning for the first time in Sarno. Enzo Tarvanishkul in second from Andres Cardenas. Sandro Perez, Kirill Kutskov, fantastic, another one recovery of 18 places for Kirill Kutskov. Dimitri Madvev in 6th. Andrea Dupe is 7 from Adrian Benito Ferrer. Then we have Leo Robinson and Miguel Costa. Then Dries van Langenronk in 11 from Emmanuel Olivieri, Tobias Klosen, Clément Autran, Francisco Macedo, and Sasha Avril.
And behind Sasha Avril, of course, we had Joshua Graham, Marty Rittinen, Jackson Burns and Timofey Mikolov, then Louis Leveau and Elliot Kaczynski from Mark Brovko, the last driver home. Guy Albag, Enzo Nienkotter and Max Walton were amongst the retirements. Jacob Kamenik was unable to take the start. We're not entirely sure what the reason for that was. We'll try and catch up with that little news update a little bit later on into the action. It's definitely getting hotter here at Sarno. The air temperature getting up to 29 to 30 degrees Celsius now. It's almost as hot outside as it is in our commentary box. Very nearly. It's catching us up a little bit.